All right. Hello, everyone. I think we are live. I hope we are. Welcome along, wherever you are in the world. I am Phil. I'm super excited to be here. And I'd love for you to tell me where you are in the world. Please just comment so I can see who's here and who's come along to listen to. There's lots of people registered for this. Many people might be watching it on replay. But yeah, I'd love to see who's come along, where you are in the world. Great. Thanks for the comment, Paul. You can hear me. That's wonderful. Comments are coming in now. While we wait for a couple of minutes, I'm going to tell you what I've been writing today. I have been writing some posts and jokes and silly things for LinkedIn, as I like to do. I've also been working on some editing for the book that I am editing. It's an anthology. I'm excited about that. It's going to be out later this year with stories from all over the world. So tell me, as well as where you're from, what are you writing? Let's read some of these out. Paul, hi to you from Vancouver. It's probably the morning for you. Nida, hello to you. Thanks for coming along. Ariane, great. Milton, checking in from Angola. Welcome, sir. Happy for you to be here. Nyla's in Saudi. Okay, that's great. Ariane's in France. Mariana, welcome along. Mariana's yoga in Croatia. Gold, hi there. Logging in from Nigeria. Alexandra, brilliant. Good to see you. Oh, you're on Fuerteventura. That's very close to where I am. I'm in Las Palmas. Umar, hi to you. And Pratima, logging in from Pakistan and India. That's great. And Renee, hi to you. Ossie Yemi, Maria's here from Portugal. Brilliant. Anna from Buenos Aires, where I used to live. Great place. Well, welcome along, everyone. We'll get started, I guess. We are going to talk about pitching today, and specifically using English language to pitch. So if people come along in the next few minutes, I guess they'll have to catch up. So let's start. Just going to share my screen here. Brilliant. I'm sharing my screen and please bear with me. First time I've done this on my own. So I will try and keep an eye on a comment or two. Oh, good. You can see me as well as the screen. Okay, that's great. Right, so here we are. This is what we're doing today. Pitch for Success, tips for multilingual freelance writers. Now, I hopefully some of you or most of you know who I am. I'm Phil. I'm the English writing coach. And basically my job is to help professional writers whose first language is not English. Right, we've got loads of amazing writers from all around the world, and I love seeing you build that authority and succeed. That's really what we're looking for. What we're going to talk about today is not exactly how to pitch, but more the type of language that you need to succeed. So, of course, it's impossible to tell you how to win pitches for everything all the time, right? You're sending writing or sending proposals for many, many different things, and there's no silver bullet for succeeding. But the reason I wanted to do this is I get so many pitches, and I help lots of people who are not getting the right responses. And really, these tips today about some phrases to include and the types of formality to use is going to help you clear the initial hurdle, right? To get your foot in the door and to make sure that the readers of your pitches are not giving an instant no, because they're always looking for reasons to ignore things. So we'll be here for, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. If you've got any questions, I would love to hear them, uh, and I'll get to them at the end. Also, stick around to the end because I'm going to tell you about something amazing which will not be around next week. So I'm sorry for everyone who's watching on replay, but if you want the information about some extra tools and techniques that are going to really help you to build successful pitches, then stick it out until the end and I will give you all that information. So first off, let's talk about this. Why is language important? Really what's important with your writing business is the end product. But also it's important to write in a way which is clear, effective, and like I said, gets your foot in the door. And there's a lot that can stop us. So if English isn't your first language, whether this is fair or not, I feel like it's the truth. It's a reality of the Anglophone world that we live and work in. And it's that your proficiency in English is how people at the end of the pitch judge your professionalism. Many of those people may not be native English speakers themselves. They might be using English to communicate between lots of different international workers and writers. However, if we get English which is just plain inaccurate, and you'll see some of that in a minute, it makes people think, again, I'll say rightly or wrongly, that you have a lower level of skill and a lower level of professionalism. English is important for effective communication. I really like this word effective because it's not about using fancy words. It's not about having the most flowery language of wonderful vocabulary. Your job when you send a pitch is to communicate in a way which gets you results. That's what we want. And language is the way to do that. It's also important for building rapport. This is something that people don't talk about that much, but essentially, I'm just keeping an eye on the comments. Sorry, hi to everyone who's just joined. Great, we've got Flo, Thais, welcome. Tomu logging in from Mexico, hi there. And Doris, also from Brazil, great. Right, back to this. Building rapport, yeah. This is something I don't think a lot of people consider. But when we write, we're building a relationship, and the language and word choices that you use demonstrate the time that you put in, the effort, and the care that you have for that other person. So again, your job when engaging in this pitching behavior, sending out pitches for new writing that you want published or for jobs, then you really need to increase the level of your relationship with that person, and that's what's going to help you to succeed too. And as I said, people are always looking for reasons to say no, so don't give it to them. All right, this is going to be a fun part here. These are some pitches that I've got in the last week or so, and I consider pitches as emails when people are offering something or when they want money in return for something. We'll have a few different examples of why these maybe aren't the best, but let's just say that they made me immediately think no, and that's what we're here to avoid today. Okie dokie, first one. I'll give you a second to read this because there's lots to it, but this is an email I received this week offering me SEO services, I think. So hopefully you've had a second to process this with its rather nasty red letters. What strikes me is that it's not got an appropriate greeting, so it's just been sent to everyone. Again, that's a kind of set thing that we need to worry about in English emails. Next, get your site on Google's front page search. Isn't it Google search or Google's front page? There's something not right about the English there. So that's something to consider. Also, we've got who it's from. Oh, no, the next thing I wanted to mention is if yes, right? It says if yes. If yes to what? Right? There's no question. So grammatically, there's something wrong there. And let's look at the end. It's from marketing manager with some weird spelling and weird spacing. So those are things which set alarm bells ringing and made me think, I'm not so interested in that. Couple more to show you. Have a look at this one. Another email that I received. And wow, that subject line. Looking for author, writer, blogger, editor, plus long-term work, plus payment assurance. What is this about? I have genuinely no idea. There's so many things in this title to pay attention to. I probably wouldn't have opened it if I wasn't looking for bad examples to show you guys. Is this person offering their services, or do they want these services from me? And if so, if they do want these services from me, why is there so many? Surely they should have done their homework about who I am and what I might be able to help them with. So again, not a good example. It's very unclear with that subject line. Final one is this, a message I received from a writer, and not everyone has a high level of English, and I will never judge anyone for their level. We're all learning and we're all improving. I would say that we've got two messages here. Both of them are spelled or grammatically incorrect, and there's some errors in the tagline as well. So it doesn't give me confidence that this person will be able to deliver something, even if I were to hire them. So that's some bad examples. Let's have a look at how to do it. And in the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to give you 4 tips, I think, for what to do with your English to make sure that you don't commit those kinds of errors. Great. I'm just, again, keeping a quick eye on the comments while I do this. If you've got any questions, I'll get to them at the end. And yeah, please tell everyone what you're working on, what you're pitching. So my first tip is this: land softly. This is the kind of language to use and a kind of approach to adopt for a first email, right? For a cold email, you might say. It can be quite hard to know what to say. And if we go back to these bad pitches, right? This one just gets straight to it, right? Get on Google's front page. There's no bread there in the sandwich. And with emails in English, we have quite a strict protocol of wanting some kind of nicety, some kind of compliment, some kind of in, right? So here are a few ways that you can use phrases which are not too formal, but I think are appropriate for beginning like a cold pitch. Okay, so let's imagine that a writer is going to pitch to a blog, and they want to do a guest post or to submit a post. They said, I'm an avid reader of your blog and I loved your recent post on X. So I like this because we've got a specific word here, an avid reader, not just I read your blog, but this person is really keen and they've used quite a specific adjective, right? Avid reader, that's a nice collocation there. So again, demonstrating your language level, yet with something which is fairly simple and fairly informal. You can congratulate people, right? Congratulations on the recent product launch or magazine launch, whatever it is. Yeah, maybe use a full word here, congratulations, rather than congrats. But it's informal enough that we've just got these contractions like it's great to see. Also, another idea here, as someone who keeps their finger on the pulse of content marketing, I've noticed something. It's relevant to the reader because they are involved in content marketing. I like this because it has this phrase, finger on the pulse. Right, we don't have to use lots and lots of clever idioms, but it's quite snappy, and it shows that, again, you have an advanced level of English, and I think it's the kind of thing that would be appropriate for a sort of soft landing. Let me know if you've got any thoughts or questions on landing softly on these initial lines that we can write in our pitch, and what kind of tone they have. Okay, this is a big one. Tip 2 is about formality. This is something I'm really, really keen to share with you guys because I see so many great writers from the developing world, from countries in South Asia, Africa, Latin America, and they write with far too much formality. It's very important to consider who's reading your email, who's reading your pitch. Of course, we want to approach people with the right level of formality, but consider this: when you are a professional writer, when you sell your services, when you sell your articles or your blogs or your social media posts, when you sell your services, that relationship should be 50-50. Right? The client is giving you money and an opportunity and maybe a testimonial, but you're giving them a product or service that they need and that they want, and it's going to be useful for their business. So never feel like you should engage too many niceties. Oh, dear sir, it is such an honor to be able to submit this piece to your magnificent publication. That's too formal. And the reason it doesn't work is that perhaps in some cultures, that level of formality would be appropriate. But for most media owners and for most people who are going to read these pitches in the English speaking world, it gives away too much authority. It puts you at the level of somebody who is simply serving, right, and not somebody who is an equal partner in that relationship. So really think about how you can match the formality of the person to whom you're writing. Here are some examples. If you get something like this, this is a bit more formal, right? Kindly inform us of your previous publications. Maybe somebody's replied back to your initial response. Maybe this is a message. This to me seems more formal because we've got inform, which is longer and comes from Latin, so it's more formal than tell, right? Tell us about or show us your portfolio. Kindly as well, it's kind of a more formal email phrase. So if you get something like this, an appropriate response might be, please find attached a record of my publications. So here we've got a nominal form, a record of my publications, and we've got please find attached. So that's a more sort of formal word order there. Great. I'm just keeping an eye on the comments here. Norio says they're having problems on LinkedIn, but on YouTube it's fine. Okay, can somebody just tell me if everything's still going fine on LinkedIn? I'd be very grateful. Hopefully it's all still rolling along. I can see it. Just give me a thumbs up or a shout out in the comments if it's still going okay on LinkedIn. Okay, good. Yes, Renee says good. Renee can still see me. That's wonderful. Right, let's carry on. If anyone's having issues, yeah, it's also available on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. Great. So here's a less formal response, right? Wonderful. Could we see some examples? So could we see some samples to get an idea of your work? This seems more informal. It is a question. It's got an exclamation mark. It's a bit more friendly. So you might say something like this. I've added a couple of links to the document. Right, a couple of bit more informal, bit more casual. If you don't know the level of formality, if you haven't responded with people anyway, in any way, what can you do? You can go to their website, you can look at their branding or marketing materials and try and mirror the kind of voice that they use. But my key tip is pay attention to how formal the response is that you get, right? And match it, because you don't want to be at a disadvantage in that relationship. It should be an equal partnership. Okay, moving on. Right, Gold says it's still going well. Right, connection's good. Okay, be authentic is my next tip. Um, being successful in a pitch, and again, speaking as someone who receives quite a lot of people asking me to look at their writing or to hire them as a writer. What does being authentic mean? That you've taken time and care to think about who that person is, what you can offer them, and that you've spent time crafting your own work, your own message. If I see things that have repeated or copied typical buzzwords in them, I think I'm going to ignore it. I'll give you an example. There's lots of these copywriting buzzwords like, skyrocket your brand to the front page of Google, or the secrets to success of SEO branding. If I see these, I feel like the writers have copied those and that they're not going to offer me something unique. So really choose vocabulary which is slightly different and is going to make people pay attention and think this is unique, this is different. Easy one, don't copy and paste. I do recommend using templates. You can't type out a pitch message 400 times, but if you've just got one bland message that you copy and paste, it's not going to work. So make sure to personalize and change each line, each word to the maximum of your ability. Now, this next one might split a few of you. I would advise people not to use AI. To me, AI is not authentic. If you ask ChatGPT to write a cold pitch email to sell your article on doggy daycare or whatever you've written it on, it's not your intention to order things in that pitch the way ChatGPT does. It's not your intention to express things in that way. So one incredibly important thing to me is that writers build their own templates. Spend the time crafting the right kind of pitch and then use that as a basis, because your intention to sell your services in a certain way is really the important thing there. I would advise people to, let me know what you think in the comments as well. I'm interested to see if you guys are using, if you're using AI or not. Just seen a question from Dr. Aisha. Yes, this will be available on recording, but there's something very special at the end, so stick around if you can. I do recommend people use AI to check their work. So if you've crafted a template, yes, we want it to be nice and accurate. So things like Grammarly and as well as your own proofreading and ChatGPT can help there. So I'm not against using AI, but generate your own text and build your own templates. Also think about how you can attract a response. Your goal in a pitch, remember, is not just to immediately get a yes or sell work. Relationships are based on trust. So you'll need a bit of back and forth. And if you've got no questions or nothing to generate conversation, then you won't get any kind of response. Here's a quick example. It's a bit of a silly one, but I quite like cats, so that's why I've written it. It says, please feel free to reach out with any questions. If I'm away, my feline assistant Mittens will get back to you. So, as I said, it's a bit of a silly one, but if this person is thinking of replying. If it were me, I'd probably ask about the cat. It makes it a bit more fun and it gives someone a reason to expand and offer something up themselves, right? They might talk about their own pet. Okay, final tip is this: generate curiosity. Again, we all know about hooks and getting people interested in what we have to sell. I said this wasn't going to be too much about the content of the pitch, but here are a few ways that you can ask questions in English to do this, or to use a couple of tricks of missing information. Let's imagine that you're pitching an article to a property publication. We've got this. Did you know that 95% of Gen Z believe they'll never be able to get on the property ladder? My story idea, blah, blah, blah. So it does two things here. It invites the reader to respond because the owner of this property magazine probably has a very good idea about this. Maybe they know the latest statistics. They might want to add their expertise to that. And so it invites them to reply and comment on that. It also proves why your article is going to work for them. Okay, another one. Have you noticed a change in the number of X recently? This could be anything specific to that niche, to that writing industry. Again, it's inviting the reader to reply. And here's one you can use, again, a bit of a silly example, but something in your bio. Hide information in the email which begs the question, right? What's the question here? Who's the Hollywood star? If somebody had that in their bio, I'd be interested. And I'd want to ask them, why are they interviewing an assistant gardener as well? Not even the main gardener. So that's something that I think would generate curiosity, and a few techniques or tips of how to do that. Great. Now is the time to get your questions in. I'm just keeping an eye on the comments here. Thanks, Paul, for your comments. Irene says, all the AI, we translators are already tired of saying that AI can't replace us. Yeah, I'm with you, Irene. And welcome, Tim Ann, as well, tuning in from Kenya. Alexandra says, I think AI can be used as an assistant. Yep, totally agree. Good idea there. Flogerta says, don't get me started on AI. Okay, we won't. So, time to get some questions in if you've got them, and I will do my best to answer them. Here's a quick recap, and then I'm going to tell you about something which will be gone by the beginning of next week. What is it? Okay, so putting it all together, what have we learned today? It's very important, first of all, to do your research on a pitch, and we really want to ensure that you don't get an immediate no, that you don't get immediately dropped into the junk folder or the recycling bin of somebody's email inbox. A lot of that comes down to being accurate with your English. We saw some of those bad examples earlier. How to do it right? Use a friendly opening, a soft landing, some kind of phrase which congratulates the reader, which shows that you know who they are and that you're not getting straight immediately in the first line to your selling of what you're offering. Most important one for me, or maybe equal first, is match the level of formality. I'm going to talk a little bit more about a way you can delve into the English language and figure out what makes something more formal or not in a minute. But that's most important. Remember that you're an equal partner when you sell something. So don't be too formal and really think about the culture and the appropriate formality for the person to whom you're writing. Seems like some of you agree with me in the comments. Don't use AI. Don't just generate a boring old pitch. You have to be genuine. You have to be unique. If you can use special or specific vocabulary in English, if it can be really industry specific, use things like some idioms, use some great collocations, and if it just seems like it's you, it's authentically you, that is something that will make the readers of your pitches trust you more. And finally, generate conversation. Give people a reason to write back to you. You can ask them questions on non-sensitive topics, especially if it's related to your writing. You can hide information as well in the you can hide information in the email, generate that curiosity to get people to reply. All right, so I am having a look at the comments coming in. Don't think we have too many questions yet. I might be missing them. I'm just going to have a look through. But if you want to know or just tell people what you're pitching, that would be great. Dennis has asked about plain English. We'll get to that question at some point. Thanks for that question. Sorry, it's Doris. I misspoke. All right, brilliant. So we'll answer Doris's question and any others in a minute. But first, I want to tell you about something which is here now. And in a couple of days, it won't be. I'll tell you why. Now, you have heard about my initial tips for how to write a pitch which won't get consigned to the junk bin. If you're a new writer, if you're somebody who is sending out pitches, who is answering proposals on Upwork, on Fiverr, somebody who is looking for clients on LinkedIn as a writer, then I highly recommend what I am calling, drumroll please, my freelance writer mega bundle. You can see a few things on screen here, but there's actually going to be 6 things in the bundle, and it's something I've put together to help you with pitching, with improving your English communication, and with communicating with clients when you get them. What does it include? First of all, the pitch examples. So it's going to be a sheet with 3 examples that you shouldn't copy paste. You should adapt them and just use it as a good practice. There's some examples of initial emails. So when you're cold pitching someone, applying for a job, something like that. And there's also some examples of when you know an editor and you're pitching, you're proposing something, right? You've got an idea for working on their website, or you've got an idea for an article. You're going to get the online tools sheet. You can see that on screen. There is tons of links and tools specifically to help multilingual writers. So loads of useful links to language tools, readability tools, stuff to generate content ideas. There's lots on that cheat sheet. You'll also get an editing checklist. That is a list of questions to ask yourself to make sure that you submit the best work possible. And again, it's cool because it's something you can adapt to your own needs. There's going to be 2 masterclass videos. That is something on editing, detailed editing of your work, and also how to format your work for submission. So that is really important, because if you can make your work look ready to go, ready to publish, I think that makes a bit of difference to whether people are going to accept that submission or not. Final couple of things are a profile tips video, a few tips on how to use interesting word choices for your LinkedIn profile so that it stands out and that you're not just copying these buzzwords like we said earlier. And the final thing you can see on screen there is my email mini course. So it's a 5-day course that is delivered by email. Doesn't take very long, just 30 minutes a day. You can watch the videos, do the exercises. And what I like about it is holistic. It will tell you not only how to write good pitch emails or application emails, but how to delve into this formality issue of English, right? How you can figure out which phrases are appropriate, how you can mirror that formality in emails. All of this stuff is included in the bundle. And the reason it won't be available soon is not fake urgency. I'm not one of these people that say, hey, buy this now because it's gone tomorrow. I'm changing a lot of my business systems for how I deliver things like this. So I'm going to be personally emailing you all of this information. So if you buy this product, then I'm going to send you a personal email with all of the sheets and videos attached and your entry to the 5-day email mastery challenge. I'm also not somebody who does fake price drops like $450 down to $197 for, two minutes only. This isn't going to cost you very much. It's going to cost you the same as a concert ticket or a meal out. $27. If you're looking to get this, I'm going to drop the link right now in the comments. I'm going to do that on my streaming service and on LinkedIn. I hope it's working. Link to buy the Freelance Writer Mega Pack. As I said, if you're watching this on replay, I'm sorry, but you probably missed this. If you're watching it next week, then you won't be able to buy this because I will be working with new products, new systems, and I won't be emailing people personally. So please appreciate this is worthwhile. $27. If you get one lead out of this that turns into a job, if you get one piece of one client that gives you a testimonial, if you sell one blog idea for $30, you have made your money back and more. So I really think this is something that is going to help some of the newer freelance writers out there to get a good grasp on English and take advantage of all of this stuff. If you're thinking about it, go for it. If you've got a question, just send me a message about it. I'll answer you when I can. And again, sorry to everyone who's watching this on the replay. Feel free to message me. Some of this stuff will still be available in some form. Great. All right, I'm going to move on to my final slide, which is this. Paul says, looks and sounds great. Thanks, Paul. The link does not seem to be working. The link is not here. I have posted the link on LinkedIn. Is it? The link has been posted to YouTube and to Facebook. Linked in comments. Give me a second to load my LinkedIn page, and I'll try and drop it in the LinkedIn. All right. While I'm trying to figure that out. Yes, Tim Ann, I'm trying to give you the link on LinkedIn, but I can't seem to post it. While I'm trying to figure that out, I'll answer some of your questions. Here we go. Right, I've loaded the LinkedIn page. Link to buy the mega pack. It's mega. Come on, people. When are you going to get something mega for $27 again? Right. Has everyone got it now? I have written it into the comments of LinkedIn. I hope that is available. Great. Flo has posted it as well. That's amazing. Thank you very much. Great. So for everyone who's buying this mega pack, that's brilliant. I'll be sending you a personal email probably tomorrow sometime with all of the details on it. And great. Questions. I'm going to go to Gagan. I hope I'm saying your name right. And let's just put my lovely background back on screen. Gagan asks, how do I get my first writing project in Fiverr or Upwork? I can tell you, Anthony Moyer is a great person to follow for that. He is an Upwork expert. There are lots of people on LinkedIn who are looking to help freelancers with more with their profiles and more with outreach. As I said, my sort of expertise is with the quality of your English and the quality of your writing. Basically, my advice would be to just do everything you can to stand out. Don't be the same as other people. Be confident in your abilities and work as hard as you can on making sure your profile looks great. I hope that helps. Right, any other questions? Tomu, I'm just going to read your post. You said you pitched in a newspaper in California, and one thing you did before the pitch to an English-speaking staff member was share my material published in Spanish with the Latino members of staff. Great idea, because of course in California there's so many Spanish speakers. Then you mentioned this to English-speaking staff member and get him to answer you. You wanted to ask about this, how to get English-speaking people who don't have an idea about Spanish-speaking outlets. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very interesting case, Tommy, because I think if, in certain markets in the US, there is this dual approach of, there are going to be areas that, like Florida and California, especially, I imagine, that have so many Spanish speakers in them that there may be people like the staff member that you pitch to that operate in both. Overall, though, I'd say your writing in the Spanish-speaking world can help your authority in the English-speaking world. But yeah, many people might not recognize it. So it's up to you to find a way to display some of your portfolio in Spanish, maybe translate it, maybe write an English writing CV that you can submit along with your submissions to say how many great pieces of work you've had published in Spanish. I'd also recommend building an English speaking profile. So whether that's a portfolio, your LinkedIn page, try and have, separate profiles for your Spanish speaking writing and your English writing. Doris had a question about plain English, I think, earlier. Let's have a look at that. I'm just scrolling back through these comments, seeing that people think buzzwords are hideous. That's great. I do too. But we've all, used them at one point or another, probably. Doris's question was about plain English. I think I saw that question about what do we think about plain English. Depends. Well, I have two thoughts. I mean, it depends on the context, on the outlet. I think a lot of web writing recommends plain English because everyone can read it and it's going to make text simpler, especially for screen reading. It's certainly something to consider. My second thought on it is that to differentiate yourself as a writer who can use highly specific vocabulary, as somebody who can really bring a level of expertise, having a vocabulary which is the other thousands of words which are not in plain English is a great benefit. So I think there are times to write in plain English, and if you really want to build your career and get further in the world of writing in English, I'd recommend keep working on that vocabulary. Read quality newspapers or magazines as examples, because they're not using plain English, and the writers that they employ are seen as they're experts and the people that are doing really great. Chantal says, I've been writing since I was a kid, but you've never worked as a writer. Most jobs require at least 0 to 3 years of experience. How should I approach this requirement? It's the catch-22, right, of not getting employment unless you've got experience, and vice versa. I would focus on trying to get some testimonials from clients, even if you're working with people for the testimonial, right? I'm not suggesting to work for free, but if there's a blog, or that somebody from social media that has some authority, that can help build your portfolio. Also focus on results. The years of experience thing doesn't matter. At the end of the day, people don't care if you've got 10 years or 5 years experience. They care about the results that you bring. So when you're writing testimonials, when you're writing your portfolio, consider what results they are bringing, whether it's views, followers, traffic, whether it's sales, if you're a copywriter, or whether it's engagement maybe. I hope that helps. Any other questions? Scrolling back through the comments. How would you do the visual? I'm not sure what that's about, Marianne. May have been replying to one of the other comments. Let me just scroll down to the end of the comments and see if we've got any new questions. Irene, that's great. I can see you networking there with your translation services. Love that. I think that is it. I can't see any other comments. So Fatima says, amazing session. Thank you, Phil. I can show this on screen. I should have been doing this all along. Thanks, Fatima. And thank you so much for coming. If you're still thinking about the mega pack, if you're a new writer and you want those tips and tools, just remember, copy that link, get cracking, because it will be gone very soon. And I'm looking forward to writing back to some of you tomorrow with all the details and all the stuff on that. I'm also going to try and do these live sessions once a month or so. I'll let everyone know, of course, when I'm going to be back, and it may be at a different time. We shall see. That's it. I have really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for coming along, everyone. It's been great to see you all here, and amazing that there's so many people from around the world logged in. So thank you so much, and hello to anyone watching on replay as well. All that remains to be said is good luck with your pitching, right? Keep writing, keep improving. You can do it. Send out those pitches and make sure they're not going into the recycle bin. If you've got any questions on stuff, always just reach out, send me a message. I'm around on LinkedIn, Facebook, and by email. You can find all the links on my profile. And have an awesome weekend, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. That is it for today. I'll see you at the next broadcast then, and happy pitching.